Hello, let's do the Netflix puzzled Starstruck for April 10th. We'll do the easy and the hard as usual. Easy is called trending topic. So the way we play this game is in each row, each column, and each colored region, we're placing exactly one star. In addition to that, stars can't touch each other, even diagonally. So if there was a star here and a star here, they'd be touching. That's not allowed. All right. So we have this is something to always look for, is if there's an entire row and an entire column that is all one color. If it is, then you have to place the star at the intersection. Because if I place it anywhere else, then so if I place it somewhere else in this column, it'll X out the rest of this row because we can't put 2 in indigo, and then this row wouldn't get a star. And similarly, if I put it in this row, then this column wouldn't get a star. So we have to put it where it's in the row and the column. Okay, so now this leads us to here where we get this L-shaped region here in 3. And this cell here touches all 3 of them, so it can't be a star. And now these 3, they use up that row, so the rest of the row can't be a star. These 3 use up that, oh sorry, this can also be here. Okay, so let's think what else we have. This column here needs to place a star. It's going to go in brown. And that's in green. That's the only place for yellow, blue, gray, red, and orange. All right. Not too bad. Just had to notice a few formations. That's all. And that little intro is always nice. All right. I am interjecting this next day. New shirt. I'm interjecting this between the easy and the hard because the hard took me almost a half an hour. And if you want to watch that, it's still at the end of this video. You can watch the full half an hour. And watch me struggle and how I figured out all of this stuff. But for those who, they were messaging me, they were commenting like, the hints made no sense in this one. It was really, really hard. I really struggled. Is there a clean way through? Yes, there is. I'm hoping you consider this clean. I think it's really neat. And I can actually explain it very quickly. So I'm going to walk through kind of the minimal steps to get through the hard. And then after that's over, I will put back the full 30-minute solve that I originally did. So I'm doing this in an incognito window, and that's why it's telling me to do tutorials and stuff. But anyway, so you do need to start with a couple formations. They're these easy L-shaped ones. So the L shapes always take away from here, here, and here, and this L shape takes away from here and here. All right, that's all you need to get started. But I want to kind of go over some of the thinking here that led me there, because it is buried and interleaved in my long solve. So the big thing that I started looking at, there's a few big things, but the big thing I was looking at is, you know what? Let's start with this. We've got kind of this 2x2 square. We've got this 2x2 square, and we've got this 2x2 square. And the thing is, if you kind of collapse them to the left, right, then you can notice that we have overlap here. Like this gray overlaps both of these. So whatever this gray kind of decides to do, that determines what the red and the bronze are going to do in terms of which row they're in. So we can kind of treat them as one connected thing. And so it makes it easier to think about consequences of placing stars, right? So for example, a star anywhere in this row that isn't gray or bronze is going to, or sorry, I guess a star anywhere in this row other than gray takes out these 2 grays, and then now the grays are going to point left and place a star here. Or the opposite would be if somewhere in this row other than gray placed a star, then these 2 grays would be out. That would place a star in one of these 2, and then that would take out this guy, which places a star in one of these 2. And so that's kind of like, how do we choose these rows? So that's one big thing I noticed. Another big thing I noticed is, well, so what about these 2 rows then? I also thought about these 2, but it wasn't as fruitful, I think. These 2 rows, what was interesting to me is kind of the almost nature of yellow, where yellow has a 3 out of 5 chance of lining up with red here, which accomplishes what I was talking about of eliminating these 2, which then eliminates here, which gives us, it's in one of these 2. And, that actually does cascade very well, but I'm going to leave that for later. So that could happen. Or we could have a star here, or we could have a star here. So I made it my goal to prove whether these 2 could be stars or not. And so the first kind of successful proof involved this star right here. Can this be a star? And remember, we're kind of already kind of treating these three squares as kind of a group. So it's actually not that hard to see that a star here is going to go through gray. I guess I could even draw it here. It's going to go through gray all the way here and eliminate these two. And so, if you once you start kind of seeing it that way, it's really not that hard to kind of justify a star here is going to place a star here. And it's just through gray. And you'll notice that this star touches these two, and this star sees this in the column. And so now there's nowhere to put a star in bronze. And so we've just proven that yellow is impossible because we do need a star in bronze. A star here or here would eliminate that one. And a star here would eliminate that one, which eventually means that this cannot be true, just through gray. So we can X this out. Now we have two worlds. We either have the world which is what I want, and I'm hoping for, but both worlds are nice. One world is we have a star somewhere in here, and that'll line up with red. The other world is we have a star right here. So we want to investigate what does that do. And it's not that hard to see that a star here is really crazy against green, right? We've got these three in the row. We got these two in the column, and we're touching this one, and this one. And so it's going to put a star either here or here in green. And one thing you're going to notice, if I draw these two lines, that those two greens are also within that boundary. So what does that mean? Well, there's two worlds. Either I have a star somewhere in this yellow, or I have a star in one of these two greens. And then the other star for those two rows is in this red. And so, this is choice A, and then choice B is one of these two. And so if we're not choice A or B, then we can't be a star anymore. So we can eliminate anything that I haven't outlined here. We can eliminate this whole row here. We can eliminate this one. And we can eliminate this and this. Even the greens get eliminated, because if A is true, then those greens are eliminated. And, well, this one was already eliminated by red, I think. Yeah, this one was already eliminated by red, but eliminates this one. Did I not have that one out? No, I did have it out. Okay, anyway. This green also gets eliminated. Not that it really matters, because this touches it, and if it's here, then it lines up with these reds, right? So the entirety of these rows that I haven't outlined are eliminated. And as a result, now one of these two grays is going to be true. And so that eliminates the rest of its entire row as well as the two beneath it. Not that that one matters, because just in just a second, now we have bronze down to these two. So the rest of this row is X'd out, and the one beneath it. Now you'll notice that blue has only one place for a star. And this is, from here, solve it however you want. I'll show you one way too. It's just really kind of a cascade at this point. Really simple stuff at this point. So we'd place a star here. Oh, I missed this X. Sorry, it's in these two rows. I must not have clicked it. Now orange is down to these two. That is going to eliminate the rest of the column as well as the two around it. And then red is now down to these two, so that's going to eliminate those. And that places our star in bronze. Yellow is down to these two, so that eliminates all of these. Green is limited over here, and so that eliminates those two. We can see that in this left column, there's a star in one of these two, so that's going to be an indigo, eliminating these three. Or you can see that gray and brown line up. Either way, it just does that elimination. And then I'm sure, yeah, this row here has to place it in indigo. That means this row has to place it in brown. Then we get gray. Yeah, this row has to place it in green. Orange has one place, red has one place, yellow has one place. Again, the order there's a bunch of orders to end that. But there you go. So that is kind of the cleanest way I could find to solve this. And I think it's a really nice analysis of kind of the interactions of the grid that really boils it down to a digestible concept that I think you'll be happy with. So let me know if you are. And if you'd like to see how I arrived at that, I'm about to show you my very long solve where I explore the puzzle. And I think that can be instructive, but not everyone has 30 minutes. So anyway, if you don't watch till the end of this, let me know how you did. All right, it looks like they fixed that flow, which is nice. All right, the heart is called music. Okay. Seeing some formations. This L shape takes out from here, here, and here. Now this L shape takes out from here and here. The reason it takes out from these two is notice this sees the whole row. So you can't repeat in the row, and it touches that one. So no matter where it is in red, it's going to touch that one. That one's similar column and touching. This is the same formation. Let's see, what else do we have going on? A little square here. Indigo is a weird shape. What is there to do? That is something I'd like to know. Oh, this shape here does take out from this one because it touches these three and shares a column with these, or take your pick, the column and touching in the row. However you want to do that. However you want to see it, it's the same deduction is what I mean. Is it this right three columns? No, there's plenty of regions for the right three columns. These two would donate to it. How about 4? How about 5? Is it 5? I don't know. This is what I'm looking at. I keep adding more columns, but what we know is there's going to be 5 stars to the right of this line. And we know one has to come from brown. We know one has to come from gray, purple, and blue. And that is 5. 1, 2, 3. No, that's 4. Sorry. That's 4. And then we don't know where the other one comes from. Darn. Okay, so that wasn't it. I think I made the same mistake when scanning before I drew the line. What about here? Okay, I'm not seeing that. All right, we might have to get a little more aggressive with like exploring this puzzle. What I like to do is I like to look for cells that are extremely powerful. Like, okay, if there was a star there, it would do a lot. And you kind of just look at what that would do. My initial thought is like somewhere around here. But you also want to target a cell that eliminating it would be really nice too. So it's not just a cell where placing it would be nice. Like placing this. Oh, actually, we can't place this one. It sees all of yellow, so we can actually get rid of that one. So that's not a good example, but like if we were to use that one, yeah, if it ends up not being true, all it does is X that, which doesn't do a whole lot. But like I'm thinking about this one here. I'm not sure if there's something more powerful, but it does quite a lot because it sees this green, it sees these 2 yellows, it removes from these 2, so now we have 2 left in gray. It touches this one, and that makes this a more powerful formation where that is eliminated. And then if it ends up not being true, we end up with these 2, which is still very powerful. So that's an option. This one here that's nestled in with brown would leave just these 2, which is interesting, but Xing it I don't think is all that fruitful. So I'm just going to keep looking. Maybe this one is the one to look at. So, am I seeing anything? So we get rid of all of these and this one and these 2. I'm not sure that that's enough to work off of. It leaves this, takes out that. It takes out that, which takes out that. Yeah, I don't think it's enough to say that's wrong. What else we got? This seems like a tough one, unless I'm just missing something obvious. Okay. The other thing I like to look for is binary situations. Like this has to be true or this has to be true, and see if they end up having similar results. You know, this seems really powerful. Look how much of green it sees. So just to show you what I'm seeing in my head, the star here eliminates, and I'm focused only on green here, but it eliminates all but 2 greens. Which does eliminate that one too. Just looking at one of these 2 greens, it eliminates that one. Touching in row. Which of course we said earlier eliminates that guy. Replace with some of the blue. It doesn't seem to like do any more than that. Not that I can see. Like, I don't want to go too far, but there's really not much farther to go anyway. Okay, so that seems like a powerful spot, but again, didn't really prove anything one way or the other. So I mean, this is a powerful, like we talked about this earlier. This is a powerful one, but I don't know if eliminating it is helpful. But it gets rid of all of those, leaving just these two in, which does eliminate that one and the rest of this row. So like, I don't know. It's like, I guess it gives us the gray here, which has even more effect. Exploring the puzzle doesn't mean you have to use it, but sometimes you'll rub up against the thing you're supposed to be looking at, or find some nice thing about the puzzle. So that actually places this star. This is extremely powerful. There. So it places blue as well, which places gray. This might be the solution, to be honest. Is this the solution? I mean, all of these indigos are out, which this green is out too. Down to these three. So this one's out. Now we're in these two. Yeah. I mean, all of this is out, so. I'm getting the feeling this is our solution. But I don't know how to. That's unfortunate, because targeting powerful cells, the goal is actually to eliminate it. To say, hey, this causes a problem. But even if I said this causes a problem, it's way too down the line. Unless I can boil it down to something more reasonable. These line up. Oh, this star. Okay, so actually we did hit a contradiction, but I don't know if I made a mistake. So it had something to do with yellow and red. But I mean, that was so far ahead. There must be something. And all that would do is eliminate that. And that was kind of my point. Eliminating that doesn't do anything. So that was kind of just. I was hoping that exploring the puzzle would lead me to like, oh, this is interesting. But I'm not sure if it did. The only interesting thing I can think about is like, let's isolate these four rows and see what we can see here. Because we know that gray's fully in it, we know red's fully in it, we know yellow's fully in it. So we only get one more star. Out of all of this, we get one more star. And there's so many regions vying for it. Especially blue, because a lot of blue is in it. So who wants the star most badly? That's not really the way to think about it, but you see how constrained it is? So we only get one star in all of those cells, all those different regions. So most of these regions will start out elsewhere. So this is a way to see a lot of the eliminations that this thing does that I was saying earlier, because it places a star in one of those two. And that's our last star in these four rows. So it eliminates all of that right away. But I don't really like that cell again because eliminating it does nothing for me. So I need to find something a little better than that. Interestingly, this star here, because it touches all of these, it actually forces our green to take it. So if we have a star here, we're only allowed to have a star in green. We can't have a star in any of these other ones, which is a lot. So that's something to think about. This one, no, This one takes out of these three and that one, but that's still around. I'm trying to see if like yellow has a common effect, but it doesn't seem to. What about red? Does red have a common effect? Like we know these two reds will eliminate this one and that one and that one. Like, but within these four rows, just to make sure, I can't add a fifth row, can I? No. Well, okay, so I think I was about to say that this row needs a star, which is okay. All right, let me think about. Is there a clean way to look at this? Am I looking at the right thing even? I could look at these four columns, but I mean, really, it's just green and yellow in them, so that doesn't help. There's kind of a different relationship I want to kind of explore, which is these two rows, because we only get one more star. And I'm thinking about what if we gave it to yellow, like if these two were out and we gave it to yellow, because that's almost a binary. Either we're in here or we're outside. I don't know if that's helpful, but it. What's interesting about it is because if it's in yellow, it eliminates from these two grays. That's what I was seeing, and then that puts it in one of these two, which eliminates this guy. So, and that puts it in one of these two. So we end up with, these blues gone, and these blues gone, and these blues gone. So it places it here, which places this here. So all of these are gone. All that's gone. So now brown and gray line up. I mean, it's not. I mean, I guess these are gone too. We know these are gone. Again, it's not really. Okay, orange is actually in one of these two now. Orange is one of those two. That's one of those two, one of those two. All from just saying these aren't yellow, or yellow doesn't place it there. This is out, this is out, this is out. I don't know if I like kind of where this is going, but usually, like by now, I would have explored a solution to this that's a little bit more sane. I'm just trying to do some kind of binary here. So, what's common to these two might be a question. Like we can say that this guy's always out, and we can say that this guy's always out, but I'm not super interested in all this look ahead to do that. But do you see why, right? All I have marked, all that's out right now that I have marked is all if it's in one of these three. So if it's not in one of these three, it's in one of these two. So anything these two eliminate that's also marked eliminated can't be a star. So this one and this one. I don't think that's helpful, but it's true. Also, let's see, anything else? Yeah, so if this is a star, well, I don't know if that's a yeah. If this is a star, then the star isn't here. I feel like this gray is really well positioned. And so that's going to eliminate these two and that one. But does this do that? Yeah, okay. So is this fair to say? I don't think that's fair to say. This is interesting. Let me see if I can formulate this and if it's even true. Okay, so this is the first case. If I have a star in one of these two, then I have a star in one of these two. I mean, that's a tautology, but we're starting with that. If we don't have a star in one of these two, imagine we had a star here. Well, here's our imagination. Imagine we had a star here. Then what am I saying? These are out, so these are in. And then that eliminates these. What was I saying? I was seeing something about this row. It's here. Okay. So we're focusing on this row, right? And how yellow affects it. That's what I'm trying to do. So if yellow is here, we've covered this one, then we end up with a star right there. So these are the potential places for stars in this row so far. If I put a star here, then what did that do? It put, yeah, it puts a star in one of these two in green. We already talked about that because it eliminates all of those. So these are the only places stars can be in this row. And then we just have to look. What I haven't seen yet is what happens if this is a star. Oh, it's the same thing. It eliminates these two. It puts it there. So no matter where yellow is, the star in this row is one of these. That's kind of my point. It's valid logic. Let me see if I'm willing to use that. Because it feels like there's just not something good to find here. If there is, I haven't found it in 16 minutes. But like, obviously we could be in one of these two from yellow. This guy puts it in one of these two. This guy just puts it there. And this guy, through the medium of gray, still puts it there. So I think I'm willing to use that. So these are out and this is out because the star has to be in one of these in that row. So how can I utilize these eliminations I just did? Unclear. There's something about, I don't know. Like, I wish that did something. Darn. Still think this gray is key to something. This still feels really powerful to me right here. This is very powerful as well. Like you can just see the chain. Like this gives you these two and this one, which gives this one. So like, oh, is that broken? Look what happened. This one actually eliminates both of these just by touch. But look what happens. You kind of think of this automatically placing that, right? Because just through this, which then goes through that, right? It's not that hard to see. And so this star here places that star, and through the medium of this star and this touching, like it eliminates everything from orange that's not allowed. I don't know if there's like a grouping way to see that. You kind of have to just kind of in your mind to just kind of know like anything here, anything in this row besides the gray is going to make one of these two grays true. And you can kind of use that to rebound. So like this eliminates everything from this row other than the grays, which definitely places this one. So we get this one, and you can see that that kills orange. I don't know if there's like a forward way to see it from orange. Like this one eliminates the yellow, this one eliminates the yellow, this one looks up, places that one, looks over, and these eliminate the yellow. So I mean, I don't, either way you see it, you have to go through the gray. But I am willing to use that. That eliminates this guy. So I'm one step closer to these two rows lining up. That felt like a good elimination. Like it limited an already small region. So I am noticing this one has similar effects. Like this still places that. And so this touches this one and that he's down there. But the gray doesn't help this time. Like we do put in one of these two, but it doesn't help kill orange. But it does place orange. I don't know if placing orange is all that helpful. Like I'm not really willing to look much farther than that right now. So what we can say is this star places that star, which may or may not be interesting. But really what I want to do is focus on this star, because if I can eliminate it, then I have red and yellow lining up, which seems pretty huge. Like this places one of these two as a star, right? So what it really does is it eliminates the rest of this row, which then 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 places that guy, right? Which eliminates the rest of this row, which places that guy, which eliminates the rest of that row. Like we've been through this, but like that cascade is really interesting and feels intentional, but I don't know. Orange ends up here. So these are out. Like, oh wait, hold on. This touches that too. So really this places this one. This one's always out then. Okay. So if you remember the logic I had done earlier, if we're at all in one of these, sorry, there. So now we're down to only 4 places for this yellow. For some reason, oh no, I had that eliminated from something else. Okay, that's why. I was like, this seems to touch everything except that guy. Hold on, have I been ignoring this one? Was my logic earlier even correct? This star eliminates from all of these, but we're down to 3 in green, not 2. Okay, so these are out. What if I can still justify this? This one's out. It's these two, right? It's not in this row. It's these two. So it's still, well, I don't know. Does it? Shoot, I feel like I've made a mistake. Maybe I should undo these 3 and these 2, because I was mistaken there. This star places it here or here. Oh, so that's going to line up. Okay, so I guess that's kind of what we're seeing then. That's actually really powerful then, isn't it? No, this one's not in those. I mean, well, let's think about this, right? If we think about these 2 rows, what we're looking at is ideally we'd eliminate this guy. And, you know, if we eliminated that guy, it's kind of like a fin, if you've done finned fish in Sudoku. But anyway, there's a binary option now that we've eliminated this guy, which might be helpful. So either of these line up, which is going to do a bunch of eliminations, right? It's going to eliminate everything else in these 2 rows. And then that also eliminate that cascades with gray, which cascades with bronze. And I do believe that it cascades with this star and that star as well. So like it's huge. So there's a lot of eliminations you can kind of just see from that, from using those cascades and just these 2 rows. And the only other option is to have a star right there. That's the only thing preventing these this from happening. And so, but if you notice with this star here, because it sees this in the row, it sees this in the row, it touches these, sees this in the column, it touches this. A star here actually forces green to be between those 2 lines. So either the yellow lines up with red or the green lines up with red. There's no other choice. And that wasn't true until I did that elimination. But what that means is that I can eliminate these 3 and all of these, because they can't be true, because if one of these yellows is true, then they'll get eliminated just through the fact that it's these 2 rows. And if this is true, green ends up in between those 2 rows. So those eliminations are good. And now it's in one of these 2, so we can eliminate that and all of that. And this is the cascade I was talking about, one of these 2. We eliminate that and these and these and that. And that places our blue and that places our purple. And now orange eliminates from those. Okay. This is as far as I've ever looked ahead, but now it's actually correct. It's not a look ahead. And so now yellow's now down to these two. So that's out. And yellow does line up. And so the green is out. Okay. That's very powerful. There's got to be something simple at this point, right? Yeah, brown and gray line up now. So these are out. Hey, I finally eliminated that one. It's interesting. It's these two, these two, these two, these two. What about? Oh, green. No, green and brown do not line up. Green and orange do. Orange and green line up in these two rows, so these are out, and that places this one. Right, this second row. Oh, it also limits that one, right? This second row needs to place a star in indigo, so the rest of indigo was out. Oh, this column needs to actually just place it there. That's nice. That gives us orange, which gives us red, which gives us bronze. We get gray. We get yellow. We get green. And there, we solved it in 26 minutes and 30 seconds. All right. That was really interesting. I'm curious if others had a cleaner solution, but yeah, so you kind of have to just treat like it feels like a look ahead, but you can also just kind of treat these cascades as like one unit of like this is a thing that happens in a lot of cases where it's like if you eliminate these two, you get one of these two, which then eliminates these two, which gives you one of these two, which then places the blue, which places that right. Like that's not all that bad because they're kind of connected. And if you think about it as one unit, then you can start kind of sketching out shared consequences of options. But yeah, yellow would seem to be key, and the cascade through gray and bronze seemed key. Very cool. All right. Sorry for the false deduction earlier, but that actually led me to, oh, but it's actually better, which is interesting. Okay. Wow. How'd you do?